be a product manager than a tech guy. Being myself a non-tech founder, understand that if you're starting up to build a tech platform, you will definitely face a lot of challenges in your early stage. Hi, this is Priyanka Mannani, founder of Easy to Pitch, telling you that how you can resolve those challenges from the very start. Now, we understand the business. We understand that how we want to sell a product or service or bring the solution in the market which it is needed. But now it's the time to understand what it's needed to build a product. Please keep this in mind that if you're starting a tech platform, it's just not a project. It's altogether a new journey that you are starting up in your organization. And there are literally many things that you can take care of when you're starting up as a non-tech founder. But to start with the very few and important for you today, the very first is you have to have a visual eye. If you're a founder, being a founder, we know that we want to create something. For that, we'll always first visualize it. Where we are, where we want to go, how the product should look like, how the customer wants the product. So you are the communicator. You know, you can visualize what you want. So understand and create that visualization in the form of a wireframe. Being a non-tech founder, when I started up making the visualization of my product, I took a pen and paper and drew it and gave it to my tech team. Now, to understand that how visualization works, it is nothing just to make an estimation or an imagination that how the customer would see it. And it is the easiest thing that you can do because you are the best person who can visualize how it has to go to the market. So create that skill in yourself that you will visualize everything as a product and then give it to your tech team. No matter you know the skills, you know the tech skills or not, but you can imagine. Now, once you have done the visualization, it's now important to understand the basics. When I talk about the basics, of course, when I started up, I even didn't know how to code. I still don't know how to code. But I understand that if it's a website, what things would be required? What is a website? What is an app? What things it requires the coding? Or what is an API? What is a database management? These are the only things which are required when you're making a product, even knowing the servers. I did all my purchases when it came to a tech platform, whether it's a hosting thing, it's a domain, whether it's making a first WordPress website, it's an application, it's a demonstration that I had to create for the customers. I did it all my own. But as I grew to scale to bring a tech product, I had to understand what is an API, to integrate it and to understand that what output it will be giving. Now, when I talk about the basic doesn't mean that you have to learn the code, but you can do your homework with a good research work by going and seeing the trends, the blogs and articles on the tech platforms that are being created already. If you do that, you will be able to easily communicate, what you require from your tech team. Now, once you have done your basic understanding, the very next thing that you do is, create a roadmap, create a tech roadmap for yourself. That where you want to be at a certain point of time today if you start creating the platform, even if your team start creating that platform. When I am starting up, I know that after 2 months I have to launch a product to start making business, because otherwise you will be just creating the platform or the tech product and will not end up in making money. And that is the reason maximum of the startups shut down, because of no help and no support in understanding that how the technical roadmaps are created when you're creating a product. So you have to define a proper journey of creating that product, creating a roadmap and a timeline, and then entering into execution. So create a roadmap for your tech product. Now coming to the third point is, of course, building a team. I never started up to start with building a team first and then think of the product. No, first you as a non-tech founder have to train yourself to be able to communicate to your tech team. So once these things, the first 3 things that I mentioned are done, then you start hiring a team, because then you will be in a better position to ask what you want, to know what you want and where you want to go. And now understanding how to make a tech team, of course you need to budgetize it. Once you're budgetizing that what is in your pocket, then you will start hiring. Trust me, hiring is the most difficult part when it comes to tech team or a tech guy. Why that is happening? Because of course there would be many technical people, but their cost is high. I understand, but still you can make it low by asking them to join your board, or do a freelance, because in early stage it's okay to do a freelancing thing and then bring them in your team in-house totally when you're able to pay them. But when you're hiring, please ensure that what kind of person you want in your team to be dedicated with your product, because otherwise you will not be able to handle the product with that guy and able to execute what you want to execute. So hire a CTO also. Till now you were the product manager and always you have to be a product guy, but the CTO is the person who understands the coding, who will make the coding. So you have to keep a communication with that CTO. So the next very important point is having communication. Once you do a hiring of CTO or a tech team, you have to be able to communicate that what you want, because you are telling the execution, you are knowing the business, you are knowing the market, and accordingly you are communicating what I want, right? So a proper disciplined communication with timeline has to be executed. If there is little bit of also less discipline in the communication, the product timeline will keep on increasing and your cost will also keep on increasing. If you have a period of 2 months to launch, stay dedicated to it and launch it, or even start testing it. Once you have done your communication well and you keep your communication well, then the points come when you have to start thinking about your MVP. MVP means it's a testable product, right? So if once you have defined the journey, you have created the product, you have to send it to the market to test it for validation. This will only happen when you are involved. And involvement means, I understand that being a non-tech founder, you have to be there in the operations. But if you are keeping a regular communication with your tech team and following the timelines, proper communication and outputs, definitely the product will get down in time with less of the cost. Once it is completed as an MVP thing, you are out, ready to take it out as a testing product and then take a validation from the market. So the things that we cleared so far is, number one, you have to have that visualization, a visual's eye to imagine what you want. You have to learn the basics, that what are the terminologies of the technology, or what are the things like trending right now in terms of platforms, that what different you can create. Number three, talk about the timeline, till when you will create the product and follow the timeline according to the cost. Number four is hiring a CTO who will manage, even if you are outsourcing, he can manage the communication. Because outsourcing abhi aap kar loge, but later time you need someone in-house to take it forward for a longer period of time. Proper disciplined communication, and the last, building the product in the timeline and giving it for testing as a proper timeline that you follow, right? If you follow these things, you will definitely not face challenges in your early stage, because later on, once you complete these processes, you will ultimately give it to your tech team. So follow these and you will definitely make it easy for yourself if you're not tech founder. Thank you.